So I don't think actually I will say anything new that you haven't heard today. But I'll kind of wrap it up and bring us back here to Vilnius. I will talk a little bit about the investor's perspective on green buildings and what is our experience with Quadrum as a project. I asked this question before, and so did the other speakers. Is the future of office buildings in Vilnius green, or is it just light green? I'm thinking about, there is a lot of investors which actually say that they have a green building, but do they? And we just heard about that before. A little bit so that you know what we're talking about. Quadrum is a project which has 3 buildings. Well, there is a 4th building which is underground that you don't see. It's 27,000 square meters. We have one high building which is 17. Then we have one with 12, and a 3rd building which is of 9 floors. In total, there is 45,000 square meters of office rentable space. When you choose a building and you want, or a project, and you're going to build it, there is many, many levels of green. I think that if we would go too far, we would have buildings that none of our clients would like to be in. There would be very little windows. And we would create an environment that they would not be interesting to be in. So in my opinion, when you start doing any project, any development, you need to have a strong opinion or an evaluation of what is your green concept. You need to think through things as blatant as how much natural lighting you're going to have compared to lighting inside, how much energy you lose with this additional glass, and how much would you save on energy by having this natural light. So there are lots of evaluations and calculations on total energy consumption of different concepts to be done. And then when you did that, you need to evaluate what I call the feel-good factor of the clients. Is it something they want? This slide shows something that's really, really important when you're going to develop something. Maybe more in Lithuania or the Baltic countries than other places. Getting the different teams to cooperate and to understand the concept you have chosen is not always so easy. I will talk about the different phases of our development and how necessary it is to be consistent and plan from the green building from the very, very beginning. So when we started, we invited all the designers and architects for a day out to work together to build some cars made of carton and to race with them. The idea was that hopefully they would work better later. Everything starts as soon as you evaluate the project. The location. Is there easy access by bus? Can you get there by bicycle? Or maybe even better by foot? If your workers can come by any of these transport means, it means actually less pollution and a greener project in a wider sense. Also, it's not bad if the location is attractive, central, and visible. This is what we had. For many Vilnius citizens, they are happy that it's now gone. But whatever you have on the land, you have to think, can it be used for something? Is there pollution in the ground, like we heard before? We had a big concrete construction standing there. It was quite poor concrete quality, but it was there. So we started evaluating how it could be used in our project for the future. So we thought, we'll crush it and use the gravel for the basis of our new project. As we have heard before, there are very high requirements for parking in Vilnius, and we needed to build 3 floors of underground parking. So for our 45,000 square meters, we need 940 parking places. That's the minimum we can have, but we can build as many as we want. For this reason, it became really complicated to use this crushed concrete. We had to dig out the whole land, and we had nowhere to put this crushed concrete. So the option was to put it in storage somewhere and then to bring it back again. But all in all, in a, let's say, environmental calculation, it didn't work out. It was cleaner to buy this from somebody else at a later stage. We have, as a company, Skage, a good experience with architectural competitions. So we organized one for our project, and we started working with the winner. There was Lithuanian participants and a Norwegian-Danish team. The Norwegian-Danish team actually won, and they had extensive experience in larger office buildings. The task for the architects was from the beginning to create the best possible green architectural solution within the limitations given with the land and the detail plan. We wanted them to create flexible and very efficient areas in the many different, let's say, sizes of floors that we wanted. And also to create enjoyable and recreational outside areas on the first floor and on the roof terraces. On most roofs, we added, it's a green grass and a high grass, and what it does is that it absorbs the water and it delays the process. So when you have very heavy rains, it slows down the water going to the city system. And of course, it uses a lot of this rainwater to grow as well. For us, the architecture and the project, it's important that it looks good from all angles. There is no backside to Quadrum. All sides are important and looks really good. We were very happy with the result the architects have come up with. It fully fulfilled our expectations. We had lots of good discussions and exchange of ideas that created the project that we now are building. Some solutions are really challenging. As we see here, there is a part of the building that hangs out 7 meters and goes up 15 floors. But they add to the project's total quality. And let's say the experience which our clients will have in the project. What we wanted: area efficiency and flexibility. A building that can give good quality open space areas and or separate offices combined with meeting rooms and social areas. But keeping in mind the natural light to all workplaces. They came up with a concept which is very, very flexible. So we have a system of 2.5 meters in all our facades. So it means that you can make cell offices every 2.5 meters, or a meeting room of 5 meters or 2.5 meters. So you can make many cell offices, or you can have open space. It's very flexible and very efficient. So the task for the technical engineers: make a lighter building using post-tension reinforcement and putting air bubble systems into the concrete layers in the slabs. We also told them, do not try to invent anything new. Do not look for the coolest and newest solutions which you heard about or you saw in some exposition. Use the known up-to-date technology, combine it with other up-to-date technology to give us the best possible result. So what we landed on, we needed to have a project that would use less energy while keeping an attractive and light premises for the lease. So the challenge is always how to combine more glass, more facade, and still getting light, nice premises inside. We heard about this as well before. So we came up with a solution where we really split up the facade with as much fixed, fully insulated areas as possible, and leaving some open glass where we'll let in the natural lighting. We decided to go with automatic external sun blinds. They come down when the sun shines. This means that if you stop the sun on the outside of the building, you get less heat inside, and you need less energy to cool. It's basic, but it works. We also decided and said that, okay, maybe this is not enough, because when you sit and work on your computer, that we all do, on these cloudy days when these curtains go down, you still are irritated because you get a shine on your computer. So you need some kind of curtain on the inside. But this one we made manually, because there is no curtain that uses less energy than the guy who goes and pulls it down and hopefully takes it up again. That's another question. What else? Triple glazing facades. We also decided that we don't need to have a building which is shiny in the night. It's just a waste of energy. Why should we have lots of light shining on our building in the night? Let's do it elegantly. Let's light up around the first floor building and some lights on the top, and that's it. No need to waste energy on that. We decided to put in LED lighting in absolutely all areas inside. They use much less energy, and they also last for much longer, 50,000–60,000 hours guaranteed, so you don't have people coming in and changing lamps every month. No need for that. These lamps, they are connected to moving sensors and to light sensors. So when there's nobody in the room, they go down to a minimum. When the sun shines really strong, they reduce, so you use less energy. When the curtain goes down because the sun is really strong, they increase the light. So you always have the needed light that you need on your desk, but we make it so that it uses as little energy as possible. For the first floors, we decided to use geothermal heating. So we have some wells. So we create like all the energy which comes and heats the floors of the first floors. They come, let's call it renewable energy. So about 10% of the energy needed in the project comes from this heat wells. We have demand-controlled ventilation and cooling. So when there is nobody in the room, there is no reason why the ventilation should be going on full speed. It goes down to 10% so that there is a small change of air, so that when you come into the meeting room, you don't get this feeling of stale air, but it's fresh. And once the sensors feel that the air is being used, then the ventilation comes back on again. For the ventilation system, we use the last recuperation technology, which means that we take back up to 90% of all the energy which is in the air going out, and also 90% of the humidity going out. This is really important. As in most office buildings, there is a lot of problems with the dry air. To put humidity back, let's say fresh humidity into the building, is really a big problem technically. So we don't want to do that, but we found that by doing this recuperation, we think that we will create a good environment inside without adding a lot of energy. We chose to use chilling beams, which gives you a very silent cooling. This is for the comfort. It doesn't really save a lot of energy. Well, there is no fan, but the energy that the fan of a fan coil uses is not enormous, but it's more for the comfort. It's totally quiet. We also included air-to-air heat pumps on our heating system. So we have actually 3 different kinds of heating sources, so that we heat and cool the building in the spring and autumn period when it's, let's say, not cold enough to put on the normal full heating. I'll touch a little bit again on the underground parking. As I mentioned, we have now 3 floors of underground parking, which is totally opposite to Norway and also to London, as we heard. In Norway, this is not considered green at all. But in Vilnius, this is not enough parking, what we're doing. This gives us really a challenge to build a green building with so much parking, because it doesn't fit together. So this is a challenge for the city and for the state to focus on development of public transport. And if we don't, the need for investment into road infrastructure will be enormous. In our underground parking, we also have the parking for electrical cars. We also have electrical bicycles that we will give to use for our clients. And obviously, parking places underground in a locked garage for bicycles, where you also have the possibility to have a locker and to go to the showers to change before you go to work. Another thing that we think is a soft green thing, we are making a project that we think or believe will be really comfortable for everybody working there. Meaning the employee and not only the tenant who signs a lease agreement with us. He should, as an employee, you should find what you need during the day here. We will have 4 restaurants, a bakery, a kiosk, there will be a bank branch, there will be a dry cleaner, there will be a possibility to clean your car, there will be outside seating in the summer. And when we will, actually I didn't mention that, but we have 3 stages. We're building 2 stages at this point. The building to the right and the building which is up. And the building which is down, we're building as the last stage when we have filled up the other two buildings. So when the last building will be built, we will have other services added as well. In front of the building, on the border of the land, there will be a bus stop. I mentioned the parking places for the bikes underground, but there will be 140 of them. And in this way, we want to promote the use of green transport and motivate people to take the bike. If you have the possibility and there is everything organized for it, it's easier to take the bike and put it in a place where you know it will be safe. In our backyard, we will plant pine trees which are grown, and they will be delivered between 10 and 12 meters high. So this will give this good feeling straight away, not in 20 years. It's really sad when you come to development and there is a pine tree which is 1.5 meters high, and you see on the visualization some big, nice plants. Also in the underground parking, we will have a squash court, but I think for Lithuanians it's more interesting that it will also be possible to play basketball there. So what we are aiming to do is to create a place or spaces where it's good to be. The possibility to go outside and sit under a tree, to have a discussion with your colleague, have a coffee, or just sit down outside under the trees after that meeting that really didn't go so well. So why do we consider these green issues or soft green issues? The courtyard and the roof terraces, they are green, and we heard about this, that it's nice to have something green to put your eyes on. But if the employees feel good where they are, they will not go anywhere. They will stay there. And when you have 3,500 workers in these 3 buildings, if they start to move every time there is lunch, that's a lot of pollution. So it's part of the whole green picture. Our project is BREEAM certified. And why do we do that? Well, we believe that clients will require a BREEAM certificate or a LEED certificate in some time to come. I think that this will be the rule in the future and not the exception as it is now. This guarantees for the client what you have, and for us as a developer, the same. We know what we did, and it's certified by somebody who knows what they're doing. I think this is the main question, isn't it? Are clients in Lithuania ready for the green building? Well, I would say yes and maybe. A year ago, I was standing here and I said yes, maybe, and not. So we were moving. Everyone thinks about the nature, and Lithuanians especially are very focused on the nature and taking care of the trees and how important is our forests, and really this is really well solidly into every Lithuanian. We should use less energy and develop greener buildings. I disagree a little bit with the speaker which is before, because I say that to achieve this, developers have to invest additionally into the project. Maybe if you're happy with a pass, you don't. But the thing is that any developer who puts money into his project, he has this money from someone, or it's his own money, but he expects to get a return on his money. And the thing is, if you invest into a project which is certified, you still want to have the same result on your money. If possible, better. But still, the problem is always, what is the price and how many parking places can you give us? So since we all agree that there is a need for greener buildings, the tenants have to come around and understand that a green building is a little bit more expensive. Not a lot, just a little bit. And why is that? Well, actually the client is on the winning end. Because if we develop this building or these buildings in the way that we are doing, the expenses that he will get on using his property will be much lower. So if we put these two things together, the rent and what you pay for using for electricity and heating and cooling, you shouldn't be far away from what you're paying today. If we think about that the energy price probably will go up and not down, buildings with these qualities which use much less energy than others will be really in the winning hand in the future. The thing is that clients must learn to evaluate the total cost, not only the lease price. To finalize, I think that this project has been really a big challenge for us. It's an enormous project. It's a lot of technical installations and questions and installations which were new for us and very interesting. Lessons learned, I think, keep it simpler. It's maybe a bit over the top, this one. Is Lithuania, or are we, let's say, do we have designers who can do this? Are the solutions in place? Absolutely. Are there challenges to do it? Absolutely. But there is also good consultants that can help you on the way. And are there opportunities? For sure. And there's lots of companies out there that want to be in a green building, and a certified building. I think we should say that the future is green.
The future is green, yeah. That's a good summarism. I know that Lydia has a question. Do you?
Yes,
yeah?
I do.
I'll give you a mic.
My question actually is regarding deliveries and management of an estate that's actually, sorry, before I start, it looks fantastic.
Thank you.
But deliveries and how you're going to be servicing those buildings, is that using the underground car park and facility there, or will you be getting deliveries to the top of the site?
There is a delivery bay on top of the site. With a ramp and let's say separate lifts to -1, where there is a garbage solution to split the garbages into different sorts and to bring them out in this way. Yep.
There's a technical question. What kind of solutions were they used to improve acoustics level in the building, if there were any?
So it's acoustics is a very interesting thing and challenging. So one of the wishes of the architect, and which we liked, is to use a lot of visible concrete. Visible concrete is not a good material for acoustics, so we had to really work with the acoustics. We have chosen on all the walls of the cores of all the offices, which is around the center, there is acoustic panels which are put so they are very important, and in every how to call them, in the lighting system and the ventilation system in every office there is like a raft, a piece of ceiling which is hanging, and it has lamps on both sides, and those rafts, they are made of acoustic material. So yeah, we can, for example, here you see these rafts which are hanging there, they are made of acoustic material, and then the lighting, the LED lighting, is on the edges.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite uncommon, at least for the market. So should be working, of course. You said that you are going for BREEAM certificate, of course. The question is, how involved are your consultants that you are working with on a daily basis? I mean, are you working with them closely, or is it just, you know, they give you the guidelines and they go?
No, we work with them closely. Of course, the work with them is more intense in periods. Before, when we were finalizing all the design before starting construction, it was very intense. Then during all the concrete construction, it was not so intense. Now it's again intense, and we're preparing the handover process, which is also BREEAM has certain rules for that as well.
Obviously, we have somebody who's very looking forward to boardroom, because he's asking...
Only one?
One question with 8 people who pressed like on it. So they're asking if the project is being delayed now. But I guess I can just rephrase it, the question to when will the boardroom be finally, will be delivered to the market, and will be, you know, open for public.
So we have now many clients who have signed up lease agreements. The first client moves in, well, they will start putting in their cables and furniture. So they move in, let's say, in March, but they will have their opening in May. So, and then, so the opening is in the end of May, and then we have clients moving in June and moving in July. So because there's so many square meters, we can't finish all the fit outs for all the clients at the same time.
Okay, so spring, summer next year.
Yes, but those who are signing today, we are already saying that we can't finish your premises in May, so we're saying in June, July, because it's just too much.
Okay, so occupiers need to think in advance about their own space. Thank you, Kjetil.
Okay, thank you all.